Good morning from the beautiful Gold Coast on this great and sensational Wednesday. Today I just want to hit on the overview of learning. Just take these off. Learning in a life. It appears that our whole life is consumed by learning, coming into the world, being in a family environment, our parents showing us things and teaching us things and telling us to do certain things and not to do, and discipline, learning from our mistakes as children, and then we go into an educational realm, and that's consumed by learning and being taught, um, and it just keeps going. And in the sports that we play, we learn how to play sport. We learn how to interact with other people. We learn everything, and there's something about this learning in a life that comes before every single human being. And the question that arises for me is, learn what? What's the purpose of learning? Well, every teacher has got a different outcome as to what they what they want to teach people. You know, my parents had a different outcome to your parents. Um, what I learned as far as sport and other social activities was different to somebody else, and um, you're different to other people, and they're different to other people, and parenting and environments, and so everybody learns differently from teachers to to do certain tasks, or to develop the student in different ways based on their experience, or what they've what they're trying to teach. But it's still learning. Nobody is excluded from learning. And then, we travel on through life, and we go to primary school, and we learn, different things, what we did in kindergarten, like the ante goes up in the development stage and the teaching stage. You should be more prepared, of course, as we travel from one position to the other in learning, and it appears that there is steps. Once you learn a new skill, then you are in a position to learn something else, and learn something else, and learn something else. And even through our mistakes, we can be learning. But unfortunately, mistakes are seen generally by people as something bad, as something that shouldn't have happened, as a tragedy. Really? Like, why can't we learn from our mistakes? Well, the thing that comes to me why we don't learn by our mistakes in general is that, again, we don't take responsibility for the choices we made and the decisions that we made. So it's hard to learn something if you don't show up. It's hard to learn something when you don't want to be a student. Where call it arrogance or call it we think we know better or we're more superior. Call it whatever you want. But when you move away from being able to be taught life experiences, new ventures, new things, new experiences, new way of doing things, new skills, any kind of learning. If you become closed off to learning, then where does that leave somebody when they don't identify that they can't learn because they don't want to be teachable anymore? Well, you don't learn. So all the preparation and the insight we get to learn, does that just stop because we can fail to see that we have made it or we have chosen it to stop because we don't look at life or what we're doing as learning? Most look at life just for survival on a day-to-day basis. Getting by, paying the bills, looking after your own needs, putting food on the table, and the list is endless. And we stay in that survival. But to do that is a form of learning in a material world. You've got to learn to do that. You've got to learn to have the ability to either go out and get a job and do tasks or whatever it is in a job description, or don't do jobs, and you've got to learn not to want to do anything. That's still learning. Learning not to do something is nothing. And there's still there's still going to be a survival component in that. When we don't see life as a progression of learning, then life can stop. And I don't know about anybody listening to this, but when life stops, life stops. And it can become unexciting. It can become not adventurous, not realising things. The beauty in learning is achieving. When people, or if you want to realise, it's your choice. Everything's your choice. If you can look at life possibly as a big university, as an educational process. But can you learn to do that? Or does that make sense? Well, it makes sense from the point that we've experienced learning, and we get happy when we learn new things. We get happy when we seek to learn how to be better at something or play sport, and we master that and we become good at that. I think giving up and getting tired and not thinking that you have learnt to your best of your ability, because it's so easy to compare yourself to others, like I do it, and that probably doesn't surprise anyone. Um, and comparing ourselves to others can take us away from showing up to learn things. Well, what I've learned, if I think it's good to compare to others to a certain extent, because it's given me a benchmark to what I have wanted to achieve. I've seen other people living the life that I've wanted to live, and that's motivated me to find out about those people and get to know those people, and learn about those people, and learn how people do things. That's where all the learning is. To learn anything in life, you've got to learn how it's done, and you've got to learn how to do it. But you can't learn until you show up. You can't get a school education by not learning the curriculum. You don't actually have to go to school. You can be schooled anywhere as far as maths and English and everything else that's offered as a curriculum in Western society. You can learn that anywhere. But if you don't show up to want to learn it, you can't do it. It just won't happen. So if you want to be good at a sport, if you've got to show up to training. If you want to master something, you've got to show up. But why do people not show up? Well, I got no answers on life. I can only speak for myself why I didn't show up when I was blaming everybody else for what was happening in my life. I didn't allow myself to show up because of all the fog that I had in blaming everybody else and not taking any responsibility or accountability for my actions. And I think everything is action based. If you can't see your own actions and motivations in not showing up and making excuses, why you can't learn anything new to create things that you want, then how are you going to do it? Maybe luck, Maybe by chance, sure. That's a possibility. That's a possibility. But I'm a firm believer that you can make things happen in in understanding that it is us that stops us from learning. It is us that we don't show up and try new things or want better things in life, or it is us that makes excuses. And what one person wants to learn to achieve to do something, another person wants to do different things to learn to do something. But all roads lead to Rome as far as the ultimate destiny in achieving, and it doesn't matter what it is. Some people might want to achieve to be a butcher. Other people might want to achieve to be a plumber. Other people might want to achieve to be an entrepreneur, a painter, a writer, blah blah. You can keep going. It doesn't stop. Engineers, anything. But it all still leads to a process of showing up to learn the skill to do it. And if you work on something long enough, you're either going to get good at it or you're going to get sick to death of it. And you're going to want to change it. And that's a good thing. That's a good thing. I think sometimes we need to attempt to learn and to see it through to the end, or for how long people want to see it through to know that's not what we want to do. But as long as we're not giving up because everything is always too hard, or because I can't do it, or any other rationalisation or justification or external circumstances that we may use as a reason not to be a student and learn in life. I think we can learn till the day we die, till the end. Gives purpose, gives something to look forward to. It's a challenge. Learning when you stay in being a student all the time. You've got things to learn. And when you got things to learn, you got things to do. And when you got things to do, that means you want to be doing things that you want to learn how to do it. Because if you don't have a focus on what you would like or what you vision as something you want to achieve, other people will use you to help them create their dreams. and it's a lot better steering the ship than being a passenger on the boat. Being a passenger is can be nice for a period of time, but steering the ship has a lot more challenges, and the rewards are bigger when you steer the ship. You know, but you know, being a passenger also requires learning to accept that. And if you're okay with being a passenger in life, well, that's good too. It's nice to get taken for a ride, as long as you've chosen to be taken for a ride. It's not nice being taken for a ride when you don't realise that there's people out there that will capitalise on people that don't want to learn how to achieve their dreams and to be in the position that maybe you might want to be in, looking at somebody that maybe you work for, or somebody that you admire, or somebody that stimulates you, you like. You too can do what they are doing. If you connect with that, you can learn how they've done that by asking those people questions. That's if you're in a student framework. That's only if you want to look at life as a school. You're still a student to achieve whatever you want in life. So stick with being a student, and stick with learning every single day to the day you die. It will be a better existence if that's what you want. Take care, and look after yourself, and leave a comment if you want, if you see it on YouTube, or like it, dislike it, whatever. But yeah, take care, and look after yourselves.